Welcome to the Pharmaceutical Technology Podcast, 2019 PDA Quality Week. This podcast is brought to you by PDA, the leading provider of science, technology, regulatory information, and education for the biopharmaceutical community. To find out more, please visit them on the web at pda.org. And now, here's your host for this podcast, the Senior Editor of Special Projects for Pharmaceutical Technology, Amber Lowry.
Hello, everyone. This is Amber Lowry, Senior Editor of Special Projects for Pharmaceutical Technology, and I'm here with Ghada Haddad, Executive Director of the Global cGMP and Compliance Auditing Organization at Merck & Co., Sue Schneep, Distinguished Fellow at Regulatory Compliance Associates, and Janine Skutnik, Associate Director for Quality Intelligence at Biogen and current Chair of IPEC Americas. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thanks for having us.
So let's get started. Why is quality risk management, or QRM, important to pharmaceutical quality systems, and what can companies gain by effectively implementing QRM programs?
Oh, that's a great question. It's important to the industry because it really takes a look at your overall risk of your organization. And why we focus in on risk is because we want to make sure that we can deliver a consistent, safe product to our patients. And oftentimes there are manufacturing glitches, there could be drug recalls, and all of those prevent us from accomplishing our mission. So if you have an effective quality risk management system that ties into your entire organization, you can begin, hopefully, to predict what might give you trouble to prevent you from providing safe and effective medicines to patients. I'm going to throw this one out to Ghada. Ghada, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Thank you, Sue. This is a great question. I believe that QRM is very important because it allows us to proactively identify risks for product quality as a surrogate to patient safety. And it will take us from a firefighting mode that is often recognized and rewarded. And it will allow us to focus our resources on where the risk is the highest for product quality and allow us to continuously improve our processes in an effort to ensure our product is safe and efficacious for the patient. One thing that I learned from someone in my organization is a great saying that I will quote: we have a lot of resources and a lot of money to spend on rework, and instead of doing that, we can actually use the QRM principles to proactively identify the risk and mitigate them before they actually materialize. So I believe that this is a great benefit of quality risk management. It allows us the ability to reduce deviations and ensure that we have our processes in control. Janine, would you like to comment?
Thank you, Ghada and Sue. So from my perspective, one of the real gains from quality risk management is standardization and calibration. So this allows companies to look at things very holistically across the organization and drive a consistent, documented, and transparent process for assessing risks and mitigating practices. And this is really important in terms of then demonstrating to the regulators that we have a well thought out process for the decisions that we make.
Great. With that being said, what are the biggest challenges companies face when they fail to integrate QRM programs into their pharmaceutical quality systems?
Okay, so the challenges in embedding an effective QRM program in the quality management system, I could divide them into possibly 5 different categories. And the first one that I could think about is the senior management, leadership, sponsorship. I mentioned previously that we are not very proactive in our industry in identifying and mitigating risks to product quality. And having senior management and leadership sponsorship, it would be an excellent way of promoting and sustaining a quality risk management program at a company. In addition, there is no clear QRM effectiveness check. In our industry, there is a tendency to wanting to measure everything, but there are challenges when trying to develop quantifiable metrics and key performance indicators and to identify the cost of failure to act. So that's one of the challenges of understanding the benefits of QRM. Also, QRM is often viewed as a one-off activity, and there's a lack of understanding of Q9 in light of ICH Q8 and Q10. And sometimes QRM is seen as an add-on instead of an enabler to the quality system. And we often we have a tendency to focus blindly on complying with regulations without understanding the true nature of the risk and without understanding how QRM can be applied effectively. Also, one thing that's very important to me is the lack of appropriate education and experience and competencies in the QRM roles. Often people are confused or do not really understand where they fit into the QRM organization or how can they apply the QRM principles. So that's just a short list. And Sue, I'll hand it over to you.
Well, thanks, Gada. For me, the biggest challenge is anytime you name something with a quality in front of it, half the company thinks that it doesn't belong to them and they're somehow not involved. So I always think of that when we talk about quality culture, quality systems, quality risk management. That is always, to me, a challenge when you have quality associated with a program you're trying to introduce and people just think that it only applies to quality. And I think that's a re-education that Gada was talking about. Janine, what are your thoughts on this?
I think you guys provided two very great high-level kind of overviews of the challenges. Two really specific challenges that I see in the failure to integrate is sometimes companies incorrectly use quality risk management to justify what they want to do. Many cases, this is done innocently because of what you were saying, God, is people are not necessarily as well versed in the knowledge and the tools for quality risk management. And so sometimes people reach a foregone conclusion without going through the steps properly. The other one is, again, linked to what you were saying, Gada, is thinking that quality risk management is FMEAs. And people lose sight of all the other tools and resources that go along with quality risk management and really trying to make sure that they use the appropriate tool. So they end up failing to implement Q9 and quality risk management because they focus in on one specific tool as opposed to the process.
Great, thank you so much for that. This upcoming Quality Week consists of 2 conferences and 1 workshop. How does this unique event format benefit attendees? And also, what are some notable highlights of Quality Week?
This week is really going to be an exciting and engaging opportunity for industry and regulators to get together, to learn and to share with each other. While we will be going over some of the basics to make sure that everybody is coming from the same place, we will be spending a lot of time doing case studies, sharing the practical applications of QRM, how companies have deployed QRM. There's a strong focus on culture, and the importance of it will be very beneficial to both companies and to regulators. We'll be going through an opportunity for attendees to provide some feedback on the coming revision to ICH Q9, which is that Foundation Quality Risk Management Guideline. So we have a unique opportunity to gather feedback from the audience in terms of what they would like to see in this revision, what are some of the gaps, what are some of the training needs. This is really going to be an excellent opportunity to hear from colleagues and peers about how quality risk management is being deployed and adopted, and provide an opportunity for companies to go back and continually improve their own quality management system. Sue, do you have anything to add?
No, I actually think you covered that very well. There's so much going on and so much give and take between the participants, the speakers, and the moderators and the planning committee that I think it's going to be great.
I'm very excited actually about the workshop. The workshop is going to be very interactive. The attendees will actually have different activities to work through. For example, building a poster to cover how the end-to-end QRM program manages product risks, how to put a risk register in place, looking at the infrastructure and governance of sustaining a risk register, looking at metrics. So it is going to be a very, very hands-on activities, which is great. I've participated in a workshop previously at the PDA, and it was a very rewarding experience, sharing the best practices with the attendees and listening to some of the most notable QRM experts in the industry. So it's going to be a great week, and especially the workshop I'm personally very excited about.
Wow, well, you've all given us a great overview of what this Quality Week is going to be like, but what exactly sets this QRM event apart from other events that cover similar topics?
I think what really sets it apart is it's offering three different parts. You, as a participant, you can participate in the first conference, the workshop, and the third conference, or one or two of those, or one of them, or none of them. Well, we don't want you to participate in none of them, but we want you to participate in something. But I think aside from that unique format where you can go for your specific discipline, like if you're more interested in the implementation, or if you're more interested in the theory behind QRM, or just the workshop, you can do that. But what really, really sets it apart is, I think, the great lineup of speakers and panelists and participants that we'll have, because it's going to be, we are going to be talking to the industry leaders. They will be helping us, but not just from a theoretical lecture point of view, but actually practical application throughout the entire workshop. I think that really, to me, we kind of mentioned it in the previous question, but I think it needs to be stressed here that some of the people are actually on, the ICH Q9 committee, are very involved with ICH, and the participants will be able to dialogue with them directly on what their thoughts are and how to improve ICH Q9 and other things. So I think that really is specifically what's going to be setting this apart. Gada, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Sue. I think that's a really good summary. I believe this week there's something for everyone. There's something for decision makers. There's something for those who actually want to learn about best practices and have conversations with their peers in the industry to learn how they've implemented and sustained a QRM program. There's also discussions about how to integrate quality risk management into the pharmaceutical system. So there's something for everyone. And like Sue mentioned, you can attend one part of the week, or you could attend two, or you can attend all three. So it's kind of catered for different audiences, but of course we recommend, we're a little bit biased, but we recommend that everyone attends the whole week, because that's where they will get the most benefits. Janine, if you have anything else?
I think this program is very unique in that it goes beyond what QRM actually is into the practical application, the importance of culture, and practical application of QRM in other modalities. So we've spent a lot of time looking at QRM in small molecules, and this conference will talk about cell and gene therapy and combination products as well as vaccines. So this will be a great opportunity for people to see how in these other therapies QRM is being applied.
Well, in closing, what would be some key valuable takeaways for attendees to bring back to their companies?
I think one of the key takeaways is this really facilitates continual improvement of a company's quality risk management program. Lots of companies over the past 10 years have been focused on implementing quality risk management. As we heard from Gada and Sue earlier, is that sometimes it's looked at as an initiative as opposed to a holistic enabler for the pharmaceutical quality system. So this will provide companies with an opportunity to really reassess their program, to take on board actual examples of deployment that can be brought back to use to continually evolve those programs, as well as to connect people with what is going on in the regulatory space and what changes are going to be coming for ICH-Q9 and how individuals and companies can influence the direction of ICH-Q9 in the future.
Well, with that being said, thank you so much for that informative overview, ladies. We truly appreciate you being here today. This has been Amber Lowry, Senior Editor of Special Projects for Pharmaceutical Technology, and thanks to all for listening.
You've been listening to the Pharmaceutical Technology Podcast, 2019 PDA Quality Week. This podcast is brought to you by PDA, the leading provider of science, technology, regulatory information, and education for the biopharmaceutical community. To find out more, please visit them on the web at pda.org.